Many workers, a lot of people are still staying home and working. Pandemic started it, and a lot of people like it.
Yeah,
Like working from
employers
home.
wanted to try to get people back, but they've really been resisting.
Yeah. So what the employers are doing is keeping an eye on you, making sure that you're being productive at home. And to talk with us about how this is happening and whether it's good or not, Spencer O'Leary, CEO of ActiveOps North American. His company's software gives managers the ability to manage remote teams and monitor performance. Good morning, Mr. O'Leary.
Hi, good morning.
So tell us how this works.
So basically, it's a way of, formalizing a lot of data that's been around for years and years. Anybody who uses a computer to do their job already has some data about the time that they work, how many hours they put in every day, and how much work they do. And they're all measures and data points that we've had as managers when we used to physically see people in the office. And it's quite appropriate to use that data to manage people today as it was a couple of years ago, but it's much harder to do when people work from home. So this type of technology enables organizations to use this data appropriately, and it's the word appropriately that's most important. That's why people come and talk to ActiveOps. We help people use this data appropriately to manage their workforce when they're working from home.
Is this something that employers tell their employees? They say, hey, we have this software and we've loaded it on your laptop, so when you work at home, we know how long you're working.
I think good employers do tell their employees. It's a joint thing. You know, the person that's most responsible for anyone's performance is the individual themselves. So not just telling employees that this technology is installed, but having the first person to share the data with is the employee as well. I should want to be aware of my own performance, how many hours I do, and how much work I do. So, good performance management, first and foremost, one is about employees knowing what's going on, knowing what good looks like, and then having a way of tracking against that. Give people the right data, and they'll manage themselves.
Well, that sounds good, but the whole thing still has kind of a creepy Big Brother feel to it.
It can, and that's the point about making this appropriate use of the data for managers. If you give, managers just the data or just the tools or just the technology, that doesn't necessarily create the right outcome. It's important that we train managers how to manage from home. It was hard enough, our employees, our workforce, starting to work from home, but the act of management, managing people, their performance and their well-being, got harder and harder as we went through COVID. It's even harder today when I've got some people who work in the office and some people who work from home. It's really important that we train our managers how to manage in this new remote world.
So what is this software measuring? Is it measuring how long you're on your laptop and your actual keystrokes?
Different software measures different things. I think the appropriate measures, I call them inputs and outputs. The inputs are when I start work, when I finish work, how many hours do I work? And the outputs are how many widgets do I get done during that amount of time? If I measure that and I manage my employees to that, I think that is entirely appropriate to do, and most employees I talk to would agree. I think where we cross the line and we go into the inappropriate measures are things that you just talked about, Amy. It's measuring keystrokes. It's taking photos of people using the camera on their laptop. I think that's an entirely inappropriate way of measuring and managing people. And for any employer out there today who's thinking of measuring and managing keystrokes and taking pictures of people, be very aware, because employees don't like it and they vote with their feet. And if you try and measure and manage in that way, your employees will just go and work for someone who doesn't.
Seems to me this is the kind of thing that government is actually eventually going to get around to sticking their nose into everybody's business, but by trying to create some legislation that would restrict this kind of activity to protect individual rights. So maybe it's a good thing if the employers understand right now that you better get doing this, as you say, in a respectful manner before you start inviting trouble.
Indeed, and I get that's important to do, not just for government legislation, but if you want to attract and retain the right talent, the best talent, so you can delight your customers and give them the services that your organization, I'm sure, aspires to give, then treat people in the right way. Treat people as adults, they'll act as adults. Treat people as children, they'll act as children. So get it right, measure the right things, manage using the right things, and this hybrid world can be a better place for the employees. People want to work from home, and the employers. If you get it right, it can be more productive and a more cost-effective way of running your business.
All right, Spencer, thanks so much for your time. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.